breaking news, another mass shooting in the United States, this time at an elementary school in a small Texas town.
Texas officials report 19 children and at least 2 adults killed.
Another bloodbath in school in America. Another 21 lives lost to the mass shooting. Every year, over 30,000 Americans were killed by firearms. Gun violence has long been the most deadly problem facing the United States. But why is it allowed to keep happening? First of all, there's one type of gun that is allowed to keep happening. AR-15, a military-style assault rifle that is designed to kill people quickly and in large numbers. The Uvalde gunman legally purchased 2 AR-15s on his 18th birthday, and then he used one to gun down 19 children and 2 teachers. The mass-killing machines of this kind was once not available on the market after a ban on assault weapon sales was introduced in 1994.
This day is the beginning, not the end, of our effort to restore safety and security to the people of this country.
Well, it turned out to be the end, eventually. When this ban was about to expire in 2004, most people in power didn't bother to waste political capital on gun control in an election year. So the incumbent president got re-elected, but the assault weapon ban was no longer active. And then, in the hands of mass shooting perpetrators, AR-15s unleash hell in Sandy Hook, in Parkland, in Buffalo, and now in Uvalde. Other than guns, what people often find responsible in this scenario is the gun lobby.
When in God's name are we going to stand up to the gun lobby?
However, National Rifle Association, or NRA, the most powerful gun lobby in the United States, responded to the Uvalde shooting without scruple. Here is his first tweet immediately after the carnage. Every year, this organization spent over $3 million lobbying on the Hill, and nearly all GOP members of the Senate got a share. NRA even devised a meticulous scoring system. It gives ratings to political candidates from A+ to F based on their attitudes to gun control. It is a yardstick for future funding, endorsement, and in general, votes. These report cards keep politicians on a tight leash, make them block gun restriction bills, and sometimes even drive them crazy.
Machine gun bacon.
And that's also why Ted Cruz, a Texas senator, had the audacity to dismiss stronger gun control even after the Uvalde massacre took place in his own electorate. Despite all this, the current U.S. legal framework allows NRA to operate in such a manner. As a matter of fact, it was this notorious gun lobby that helped draft America's first federal gun law in 1934. Up to now, there are even laws preventing gun manufacturers from being named in gun shooting lawsuits, let alone the gun lobby. So naturally, NRA also refused to take the blame. It instead pinned the tragedy on the lone deranged criminal. But who's supposed to stop this lone deranged criminal? It falls in the purview of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, commonly referred to as ADF. But in the past 1.5 decades, the post of ADF Permanent Director remained vacant for 13 years. David Chipman was among those nominated as ADF Chief, but his nomination got stranded in Congress during Biden's first year of presidency.
ATF has so many responsibilities. They have to regulate the entire gun industry, tens of thousands of gun dealers, more than McDonald's locations across the country. The ATF, this agency that's supposed to deal with gun violence in our whole country, is smaller than the Las Vegas PD.
ADF is in an even more deplorable situation compared to other federal agencies. For example, it is 5 times less funded than Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and also 3 times less staffed. Therefore, the sole executive organ to enforce gun control law is not in a place to fully carry out its duty. And now, even those laws also face uncertain fates. As gunmen wreaked havoc with semi-automatic weapons in Buffalo and in Uvalde, U.S. Supreme Court is poised to rule unconstitutional New York's concealed carry law. In that case, the fate of America's oldest and most restrictive gun control law will be sealed, and more states are likely to follow suit.
What are we doing?
Nowhere else do parents have to talk to their kids, as I have had to do, about why they got locked into a bathroom and told to be quiet for 5 minutes just in case a bad man entered that building. Nowhere else does that happen except here in the United States of America.
This is the America we see today, a country with 300 million civilians and 400 million guns. Although the firearm has long been the leading cause of death for children and teenagers, the nation is going in the opposite direction of gun control. And here is Biden, president of the most powerful nation on earth, crying in anger and in vain. Halfway into his presidency, Biden failed to push any piece of legislation aimed at preventing mass shooting. Now, 94% of Americans consider gun violence a problem, but their will has not been translated into legislation. Obama once pushed for a gun control law after the deadliest school shooting in American history in 2012. But the bill died in the Senate.
A majority of senators voted yes to protecting more of our citizens with smarter background checks. But by this continuing distortion of Senate rules, a minority was able to block it from moving forward. The American people are trying to figure out how can something have 90% support and yet not happen.
The bill died, even though the senators who supported the bill represented 2/3 of Americans. This failure in the basic democratic principle lingers on, and now turns out fatally consequential. 19 innocent kids and 2 teachers were shot to death in Uvalde. But assault rifles are still on sale. Gun lobby still hosts their rally. Law enforcement is still without a chief. And the weirdest part is, not a single government official or lawmaker is held accountable for the tragic human loss. Maybe it is time for them to take seriously American people's unalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And maybe first of all, life.